Hey Joel, so I'm doing a rewatch that is just for you. I was rewatching our game from Friday night, the one where Jake's over here, Travis is here, and you were right here. So I wanted to rewatch that, and I was rewatching it. I was watching your specific map, and so I just thought, I'm seeing a lot of things that I would change up. That I think might be of help for you. So I think your early game looks fine. We see you're building all the right things, doing all the right stuff. You're sending guys here. So I think your Dark Age is looking pretty good. I don't have any issues with how you're doing it. You're doing normal stuff. One thing that I do here, just because I'm giving you advice, during the Dark Age, I personally only go up to 25. I think you go up to 27, which is fine. That's not that big of a deal. But it's just efficiency. I'm seeing a lot of inefficient building as far as you're focusing on things like things that you don't need at that point. Now, that being said, you don't have to take this, if you want to play the way you want to play. These are things that I'm noticing that I think would help improve your game. It wouldn't be hard to do. Let's see here. For one thing, like your houses, build them over here up against the wall, because that way they're out of your way. That's a really quick, easy way to free up extra space that would free up this zone. That one's fairly little. And I don't know, you might do that one later. I didn't finish the rewatch, but I was just seeing stuff. So, for example, stone. You don't need these 3 guys on stone this early. Instead, put them all on wood. See, do I do stone? Actually, I might do. I'm actually okay with that. Now I'm thinking about it. Those 3 guys on stone is fine. But instead of taking your guys off of wood, you had all of these food guys. I would have taken I'd have taken 4 guys off of food and built your markets over here, instead of putting like this thing right next to your town center. I think that it would make a big difference. Also, let's look at when you go castle. You're going to go castle right now, and you're going to take these 3 guys, and you're going to build a castle like over here. Instead of building that castle, which is a fine, you need castles. But you don't need castles immediately. Instead, immediately, the moment you go castle, go and build your town center. That's something you need immediately. Because, as we've often said, we need to build it. And I see that you're building it now. But think about the 2 minutes that went by that you could have pushed out 4 villagers. Those 4 villagers would have equaled, that much more resources. So there's that. And stuff like, you don't need a university right now. Why not build another town center right next to your gold instead? So when you go castle early on, we really want as many town centers out as possible. Like that should be town centers, and food are like my big focuses. Some of the best advice I ever got was from Jeff, who was like, food and wood, just nonstop. And you just want these always cooking. And I see you've got them cooking, but notice that you've got 9 guys stacked up in here. If you, instead of having 9 guys stacked up in here, had another thing that was 5, 5, and 5, that would be that much faster. Or 4 of them that's got 3, 3, and 3. You're just getting those villagers out and working for you instead of being cooped up. And so it's just spending those troops. So I think that you're doing pretty well here. And at this point, you're kind of cooking. But notice that we have a serious lack of gold. That's because we didn't build another town center that was just exclusively focused on building villagers to go to gold. Your wood's fine and your food's fine. But we need to get another town center. And now you're building one. But if we had done that instead of, let's say, these 2 buildings here, you'd added a town center and you had the stone without the spending that on the castle. So it's just focusing on town centers earlier, I think, would be just massive for your game. And you'd be surprised how that works. I really like to go with 4 town centers. I like to have one town center that's like my home base one that's going to be building farmers, and then if I need builders, they come out of that. You do the 1 town center on wood. I like 1 town center on gold. And then I have a 4th town center that I usually put like off in the middle of nowhere, like over here. That would be a town center exclusively for food. I think that if you did that, you'd be really happy with how your build would go. And also notice another thing that I was seeing. I'm going to slow this down. So you'll see that there's all of this space that you're using up for, and notice that like this guy's having to travel that far. Every time he's having to travel, this guy's supposed to travel that far. If you were to put your farms right next to all of these, that would totally change that. So just a thing that I was noticing that I think would really help your game is just trying to focus on efficiency. We didn't talk much about it, but you've got this guy here. We need your trade carts. Notice that you've got 12 trade carts. This is kind of that same theory as the multiple town centers. Instead of building one and having a bunch of dudes queued up, it's better to build. I build like 7 markets, but I would build one far over here. Like I'd put one right here, and then I'd put like 4 in the back. And I see that you're doing the houses there. Yeah, that's the place that you want to put them, is there in the back. But if you had, 5 markets, all of these trade carts are going to just spew out, and it's so much faster, which gets you much more. So it's just building utilization, I think, would be really big in your game. Again, doesn't matter. We love playing with you regardless, but I just thought that would be some good advice that would help your game, and we're all about that. So, all right, that's the early game. I love playing with you, Joel. I think that you do good regardless. And I see that you're supporting here. So I'm going to do a rewatch of the actual fight now. So I'll post that one as well. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'm always happy to do a practice game where we are the same color. So I would be watching your game and I could just walk you through a game, which I think would be kind of fun. But, however you want to do it. But, all right, peace.